podcast on Sports War Radio.
Back on the Heel to the Face podcast, it is time for the 3 count, and we are rejoined by Paul Boy Green Esden.
Hey, Paul.
So we are going to start with him. Let's get his reaction. Our Twitter question of the week. It was a very close one of the closest we've ever had. Reigns called out The Undertaker this week at a WWE live event. Should The Undertaker respond? I thought it was a no-brainer. It was about 100% no for about the first 5 votes, but by the time all said and done, we still have 1 day and 23 hours left as of showtime. But it is only 52% no, 48% yes. Boy Green, where are you taking this?
Yeah, I'm definitely on your bandwagon there, Jared. I think it's a definite no, and it's more so because The Undertaker, I just don't want to see him come back. I've heard rumors that he would come back, but the way that he went out and putting the uniform down, and not only that, I mean, he's just been awful for the last couple of WrestleMania. He's been a shell of himself. The thing that I've just been kind of wrestling with, and I tweeted out about it, responding to the Twitter question, is that Roman Reigns has to milk the fact that he retired The Undertaker and constantly, pound his chest about it, similar to what Lesnar and Heyman did when they ended the streak. But at the same time, I feel like Roman should resist the urge or the temptation or the big red button to say, hey, Undertaker, where are you at? I just feel like that's too much. I think Roman needs to blow up the fact that he's beaten him and continue to utilize it for the next 12 months till the next WrestleMania. But Undertaker should definitely not respond. That would just make zero sense.
I am also going in that route of no response. No, it's not so much no response. It's just no return for The Undertaker. I love seeing The Undertaker, and it's hard to say that I never want to see him again, but it's just, I can't. You can't ruin what you did. So, I mean,
I'm with you guys. I'm no across. I guess it's no across the board. I think Taker just needs to. He just needs to hang it up.
Let's think this. What do you guys think the reason is then behind the 48% of people saying yes?
Because they want to see Undertaker. That's why.
Sure. Yeah. There's the intrigue. There's the mystery of the Undertaker that people want to continue to see. It's just like that guy that, like Goldberg. I mean, there's other guys that you just want to continue to come back and see despite the fact that they're well past their prime. There's the nostalgia factor. And to what you said, Jared, I remember you were talking about, I think, a SmackDown that you went to, and the sole reason that you went there was because you heard The Undertaker was going to be there, and the price of admission was good enough just to see the entrance of The Undertaker, and it didn't matter anything else. And that's a lot for a lot of people just to see The Undertaker. There's the old school guys who get the nostalgia factor, and just in general, The Undertaker's entrance in itself is just pretty interesting. But everything beyond that is just well past its prime.
I think we're all pretty in agreement that it's a no, and I think next year would be a great time for The Undertaker to go in the WWE Hall of Fame. I know a lot of people don't like it as soon, but I think it's a good location being in New Orleans because that is the place where he got his first ever WrestleMania loss. So it would be great to see him now when WWE returns to New Orleans.
Do you really think it's going to happen? Do you really think it'll happen, though?
That he'll be inducted this upcoming WrestleMania?
Yeah, we all know he's going to be there at some point within the next few years, I would assume. You really think it'll be that soon?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see them like the Sting factor. Like Sting was a year after.
He wrestled 1 year and got inducted the next, yeah.
Yeah, see, so I could see that very same kind of quick response and hitting it while the iron's hot.
Yeah, because we're not used to a WrestleMania. All the way back to WrestleMania 16 is the last time we had a WrestleMania without The Undertaker. So this might be the way of still having The Undertaker a part of WrestleMania before we officially are done with The Undertaker.
Do you think he'll announce his retirement or something? I mean, where do you guys stand on that?
He basically already did.
Yeah, I don't think he has to announce anything. I think as long as he just doesn't come back and they induct him in the Hall of Fame, and he, I know at the Hall of Fame they'll say one more match, and I wonder what he'll have to say about that. Probably
he knows he can't go anymore. I mean, that match he just had was not good.
Yeah, the tank is empty. It's been empty.
Yeah, it's been. Yeah, he was running on fumes. 3 WrestleManias ago. To be honest with you, I think he's done. I mean, it's time to just ride off in the sunset, and we'll see you in sporadic appearances here and there.
So Rob Gronkowski, we all saw at WrestleMania, was a part of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and this past Sunday at Impact's Slammiversary 15 pay-per-view, D'Angelo Williams was a part of the pay-per-view as well. More of a part of the pay-per-view probably than Rob Gronkowski was. He was in a tag team match. So the question that goes with this is not so much his performance, which was pretty weak, and I do like Robert Flores. I do enjoy, though, the fact that because he's a sports guy as well as a wrestling fan. During the match and during the entrance of D'Angelo Williams, he mentioned almost all the NFL guys who have competed in pro wrestling, and he didn't just use Impact Wrestling only, but he mentioned the Lawrence Taylors,
Refrigerator Perry,
and all the WWE guys. So he mentioned that there's quite a long history of NFL guys getting into the pro wrestling ring, whether it be in Impact Wrestling or, most importantly, WWE.
You thought it was a bad performance? I mean, besides the botch that he had on the table, I thought he did a decent job for when he was in there.
No, Brandon, you got to look at the final move. That is
he didn't have a lot of moves, and that final move was pretty much
what you do in the 2-minute drill in the clutch. He botched the jump. He almost broke his neck on the mat.
Yeah, it was definitely a botch.
Yeah,
it was definitely a botch, but I still think he did well. I mean, I think he did well enough. I could see him doing it again.
So outside of Mel Kiper's review there on the phone lines, my question is...
Plus, he wrestled with Moose. Moose is not only a former SU football player, but he played in the NFL. So it's cool to see two NFL guys tagging up. That was cool.
It was cool in the sense that I'm glad they... And TNA or Impact Wrestling, I'll say TNA till the day I die, but Impact Wrestling is a perfect example of how you do that. I enjoyed that they did it in the middle of the card. I mean, obviously, it's too late to go back to 1995, but Lawrence Taylor in your main event of WrestleMania, no, that is how you do it. You want him to be a part of WrestleMania, just like Rob Gronkowski. He's part of the pre-show. He's part of the mid-card.
Somewhere in
the beginning, somewhere in the middle.
At the latest,
you don't make him the main event. So I applaud Impact Wrestling for not making that like the main event match. But the question that goes with this is, if you could see any current athlete, so let's just be out NFL or outside of NFL, in the wrestling ring, who would you like to see?
Oof. Paul, I'll let you go first on this, man. I got to think about it for a second.
Yeah, the first name that jumps to my head, and this is a guy that a lot of people like to say, oh, man, if he did this, if he was in this, it's LeBron James. And here's why. A lot of people would say, oh, man, in the NFL would be an all-star tight end. If he was in this sport, he'd be great. I think more so, sure. So on one end, you have the physical size, the 6'8", 250-pound body. You've got that is, you would like to see that, but he's also known as one of the best floppers in the league. Well, I don't know about best, but he's one of the most well-known floppers.
You would say that as a Celtics fan.
Okay, you got to get the creative side out of it. And no, we won't go into the Celtics are not going to win the East with Gordon Hayward. This is a wrestling podcast, so let me just stick to wrestling. But LeBron James, I think that would be great. It'd be great to see because he's a playful guy from that nature. You see him on other commercials and stuff. You'd think he could actually be a good sell, and then the name value of LeBron James. That would be an interesting mix in wrestling.
All right, I just to throw it out there, Paul, I know this is a wrestling podcast. I will say this. I think the Celtics, surprise, will be they'll win the East next year. Back to wrestling, though.
So who is your guy? Who are you picking?
Conor McGregor, man.
I mean,
that's kind of
a cop-out because you're picking a guy in mixed martial arts.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's still what? Has he been in a WWE ring? The question didn't say, if you could see any current athlete wrestle, he's not a wrestler, he's a mixed martial artist. Why not?
I do love, that is true.
Who looks like a wrestler? And I don't mean to be judgmental here, but he's a current new guy in the world of professional baseball. But he's a tall, statured man. Aaron Judge. Because not just because of his body stature, but his face. He has that look with the gap teeth and the big teeth. He has that he wants he's got huge hands and a big I could see him coming out and just putting his hand over Big Show's face or something. You know what I mean? Kind of like that kind of gimmick. Obviously, he's shorter than the Big Show. Yeah. But I mean, he's got that look. He's this is going to sound bad, but obviously he's got that look of the guy from the Goonies. With a big.
Yankee fans are going to be emailing the show now.
But but it helps that not just he has that look, but again he's a tall. Very, I could see him going up there, going up toe to toe with some of the maybe not with the Big Show because I don't think he's that tall, But, he's pretty tall. He's pretty close. But maybe going up.
6'7", yeah.
Yeah, going up with the likes of some of the tall guys. I could see him going up against a Rusev or something.
You know what? You know what? You guys are picking on me for the cop out. You know what? I'll flip it here. I'll take a Mike Trout or a Bryce Harper. There you go.
Okay. Just take the tops of baseball. I mean,
but look at Mike Trout though. Mike Trout's a beast. That's a big man.
I think it would be more interesting to see Aaron Judge against Rusev and John Cena, but I will leave that. I'll leave that on the table.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
And my final question this week for the panel is: we've had a few weeks now to digest this gimmick between Maria and Mike Kanellis. What is your guys, now that we've had a few weeks into it, what is your guys' opinion of this gimmick? Are you digging it? No?
Too early to tell. I don't think we've gotten enough of it yet. I think there's been like these Sami Zayn interruptions. I mean, so far it's fallen flat in my opinion. But
so Brandon is full of the cop-out answers tonight. Fantastic. Good to know.
I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, it's too early to tell. The returns aren't there yet. I mean, it just happened. I don't think they've gotten enough quality time to really see if this is really going to play out. But I will say this. If they keep doing it the way they are, it's just going to fall flat, and what was the point of bringing them back in the first place?
My thing is with this is that I was digging the return. I didn't think they needed to do a lot of the return, but now it's been a few weeks. Is Mike going to get in the ring? Is Maria going to get in the ring? Like, what are you going to do here? Like, I think the gimmick is starting to get, even though it's only a few weeks old, we need to start actually seeing something out of them, in the ring.
Yeah, I agree.
Same thing. I don't see the motivation in Solo playing this. So Maria, I think it's great because of the wrestling aspect that she can get into the ring or possibly the manager role. But I think the more, and I don't care about Mike, I think the more interesting thing is actually getting this into motion and seeing one or both in the ring as soon as possible. I don't know why they're slow playing.
Yeah, they got to speed it up.
Well, that is going to do it for our 3 count. When we get back, it's going to be a rundown of the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view this Sunday night, as well as our tweets of the week, as you're listening to the Heel to the Face podcast on Sports War Radio, Rat Pack Radio, and on iTunes.
The New York Jets are rising and are ready to compete in the AFC. Boyd Green and Ty Butler will give you everything you need to know about the Jets every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. From reviewing the previous game and looking ahead to the next matchup, to all of the news and its 4 downs, the Jet Zone has everything. Follow @BoyGreen25 and @TyDButler on Twitter. Proud member of Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
This program is simulcast on WRPR Rat Pack Radio. Go to ratpacksports.com for more information.
Do you want to stay up to date on the latest sports news? Come check out After the Whistle from 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday night. We talk about the NHL, we talk about the NFL, we talk about the MLB, you name it, we got it. Tune in on Sports War Radio.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
Let's get back to the action. This is the Heel to the Face podcast on Sports War Radio.